Hi folks, I'm Kohlleffel with Fivetran, and today I'm going to take you through a live demo of how Fivetran accelerates building data applications in the Snowflake Data Cloud with Streamlit. I'll set up a Workday HCM to Snowflake Connector to move several hundred tables that include candidate, compensation, job, organization, and employee information over to Snowflake so that my Workday dataset can be centralized with other core systems, including SAP and Salesforce, in order to enable the wide range of data workloads that Snowflake supports. All operational systems and ERP platforms like Workday have their own operational analytics capabilities. For Workday, they have services like Workday Prism Analytics and People Analytics. But what about when you want to combine Workday with other external data sources for use cases like maybe customer experience optimization, combining demographic data from Salesforce, purchasing behavior from SAP ERP, and employee interactions from Workday to identify different segments, clusters with similar characteristics and needs? That's where Fivetran's automated data platform comes in, allowing you to centralize data, modernize your data infrastructure, achieve greater data self-service and democratization, and build differentiating data solutions. And that's our Snowflake data workload focus today, building and creating new data solutions. We'll move a Workday HCM dataset to the Snowflake Data Cloud and then quickly build a Streamlit Talent Management application that leverages the new Workday dataset. What you'll see today from Fivetran and Snowflake and Streamlit is pure SaaS, fully automated and fully managed, and everything's out of the box, ready to go with zero code and zero maintenance. And as I'll show you, Fivetran is exceptionally fast to set up and configure in just a few minutes. So let's get Workday flowing into Snowflake and build a Streamlit Talent Management application. This is Fivetran SaaS. I have multiple data sources already flowing into the Snowflake Data Cloud, including SAP, SQL Server, and Oracle operational databases. I've got Salesforce, GA4, Kafka, S3, and I've also got a Workday connector already. Let's add a new connector now. Fivetran has over 500 plus source connectors out of the box, including databases, applications, file systems, and event systems. That number's growing by the day. What we have today, 512, that's worth zooming in on. I've also got, if we do a quick search for Workday, I've got multiple options for Workday as I talked about earlier. You can see HCM, you can see Workday Financial Management and other connectors up there. Today, we're going to focus on the Workday HCM Connector. It has a data set that I need to build my Streamlit Talent Management application. Fivetran's Workday HCM Connector supports compensation, payroll, and core HCM modules. Got to call out documentation. Fivetran's Eng, product, and tech documentation teams do a fantastic job of laying out the steps to get Workday HCM data flowing quickly into Snowflake. You can see that in the right gray navigation pane, the setup guide over there. And let's go and start getting this Workday connector set up. You can name the destination schema anything you want to. Schemas and tables do not have to be created ahead of time in Snowflake. We will name this one Accelerate Building Data Apps to Snowflake Streamlit with Fivetran. From there, Fivetran needs to know how to authenticate to the Workday Integration System API. So that's what we'll provide here. I'm going to provide the username, the Workday tenant, password, and my Workday host identifier. Fivetran needs those things to authenticate into Workday. And Fivetran now is going to run connection tests to the Workday API, validate the authentication details, and ensure that Fivetran can access the Workday API. And you see that all connection tests have passed. Once I have those selections saved and tested, that's it. I'm ready to start syncing my Workday HCM data to Snowflake. Remember that not only will Fivetran move the Workday dataset we just selected, do that initial historical sync, but if there are any changes to those Workday tables or columns, CDC is automatically set up for you, 100% no code, so that any incremental changes are captured as well at whatever schedule you prefer. We'll take a look at that in just a moment. From a security standpoint, all data in motion is encrypted. Any data at rest that sits ephemerally in the Fivetran service is also encrypted. Once we've moved the data and done our checks, we don't store any data in the Fivetran service. We simply maintain a cursor to the sync point for the next incremental sync to capture changes. Fivetran provides seamless integration with dbt, including quick start data models, which allow you to automatically produce analytics-ready tables using our pre-built data models and transform your data with no code, no additional dbt project, or any third-party tools required. Transformations include integrated scheduling, and they automatically trigger model runs following the completion of Fivetran connector syncs in Snowflake. You can also monitor data movement, logs, and status from a data lineage graph as well. We'll jump back into our Workday Connector and then the Schema tab across the top nav. We've got 200 plus tables covering a range of objects in Workday HCM. Our focus for the Streamlit app we're going to build is the Candidate Experience table. Usage for us will show up after 7 days. All initial syncs are free, as are the first 14 days of incrementals. On the setup page, you'll also see the incremental sync frequency. We default the Workday Connector to every 6 hours, but you can move that to 1 minute or up to 24 hours depending on your data product or application requirements. I'll hop back out to Fivetran docs again quickly. One part of our documentation that sometimes I just take for granted is the entity relationship diagrams. We have these ERDs for all of our application connectors. Here you're going to find detailed information and the blueprint for how each entity in Workday HCM, in this case, relates to the others. Each Fivetran account supports multiple destinations. I just have a single Snowflake destination set up for this account, but you can see it's quick and easy to get set up. You just need your Snowflake connection details. Our Workday Connector is now in the list with all the others, and I have access to all of those data sources now in Snowflake. In fact, the initial sync completed while we were taking a look at the Fivetran UI. Before we jump out to Snowflake to take a look at our new data set, remember what we named this connector. Had it specific to building data apps with Snowflake and Streamlit. So I'm in Snowflake Snowsite now. I am in the Snowflake database that's set up for this Fivetran destination, and you can see the other connectors that are there. We have our new Workday schema as well, and there are the tables that Fivetran moved over. Remember, Fivetran is providing a faithful one-to-one representation of the Workday source data to Snowflake, and that source data is data app ready to go. The data is organized, it's understandable, and it's ready to be worked with, enriched, and transformed, and used in a Streamlit application. So now that Workday is flowing into Snowflake, let's build a Streamlit data app. If you aren't familiar with Streamlit, it's an open source Python library that makes it easy to create and share all types of custom data apps for machine learning and data science. A Streamlit app is a secureable object that adheres to the Snowflake Access Control Framework. Streamlit in Snowflake requires a virtual warehouse to run a Streamlit app and to perform SQL queries. I'm going to walk you through how I built this Streamlit app step by step. So first, you saw I've got a supply chain app up there. This one we're going to do is a talent management app. This is going to use that new Workday data set that we just moved over. I can assign my database as well as schema to this Streamlit app. Remember, we're operating inside of Snowflake here. When that Streamlit app is first generated, I get some hello world type code here. We're not going to use that today, but it is helpful to get you started. I'm going to start from scratch here, and we want to create the foundation for building an interactive Streamlit app that can seamlessly query and display data from Snowflake. We want to import the Streamlit library, assign the Streamlit alias. This is going to allow us to work with Snowflake connections via Snowpark. We're also going to store connection details for Snowflake database interactions. Also, we will run the application, take a look at it as we go interactively throughout. Next, I want to provide this application a title, maybe a short description. We're going to embellish that title with a rocket emoji and just give it a simple description on and how to use the app as well. So let's take a look at it for the first time. Let's run that and see what we've got. So far, so good. The next thing I want to do, I'd like to have my search on the left side kind of separated from the results. So I'm going to create a min-max section for my search filters. I want a sidebar for this app to keep it separate from the results. We'll add a heading and also a couple of search fields. I want to be able to search on the school name and the field of study for this particular application. Take another quick peek. So far, so good. So we've got our title description. Now we've got our sidebar over there with our search boxes ready to go. I like it. Let's go back and add the next section of code. I'd also like to have a section for attribution as well as a way to get in touch with me if somebody would like to. Also, I'd like to add in the Streamlit logo. So that's what this next code block is going to be. All right, let's take a look. All right, there is the attribution, get in contact. I've got my name linked up in there. It's not perfect, but it's close enough. All right, let's add our next section of code here. So this is going to be the foundation of our simple talent management app. It's a dynamically constructed SQL query within Streamlit based on user input. It's going to have flexible and interactive data filtering. The data set is from that candidate education table. I want to return all columns in that table. I'm interested in conditionally searching as well for candidates based on the school they attended. I want that case insensitive. I'd also like to be able to search on their field of study and be able to do partial searches with no nulls returned in the search results. Next, what I want to do is tell the application how to execute the SQL query, retrieve the results, and then store those results into a Python data frame object. Since our results are going to be tabular, that makes the most sense. So this is going to convert the data retrieved from Snowflake by Streamlit into a Pandas data frame. All right, last thing is I want to let the user know if the school or the field of study they enter into the search is not in the data set. If they get a hit on a search, then the results are displayed using Streamlit's ST data frame function to render those query results in the main content area of the app. So that's it. I mentioned it was a pretty simple application. Moment of truth now. Let's run this and see what we've got. Visually, looks pretty good. I like the way that Streamlit has rendered this. Let's do a search here. So remember, we can do a partial school name. In this case, men. I see a University of Minnesota, Minnesota State University. Also, a field of study can be partial too. So finance, for instance, FIN. We could do business or geology or whatever field of study that we want here. So all of that is looking good. Let's try another one. Texas A&M, my alma mater. Nope, nothing from A&M in that data set. Let's give it another. How about Rider University? Rider University, yes, but not with a finance degree. Let's see what Rider was. Yeah, Rider was business administration. Let's do one more search here. Let's go maybe just try BUS for business and see what that gives us. Yeah, so we get a number of school names. We're not getting any nulls either in those school names or in that field of study code, as you notice. So pretty happy with this application. It's doing what we want it to do here. Again, very simple. Talent management may be a stretch, but you kind of get the idea. Snowflake, Streamlit, Fivetran together, you get high quality, usable, trusted data into Snowflake. Immediately can use that data to build really cool Streamlit applications. So I would encourage you to try that out at your convenience. We didn't take a look at the min-max on the sidebar. There it is. And the min-max is also on the results set. So Streamlit just makes it extremely easy for these applications to configure them however you'd like and however you want that user experience to be. Hey, if you don't have a Fivetran account right now, one pro tip is that you can set up a Fivetran trial account quickly and easily right from Snowflake Partner Connect. In fact, Snowflake automatically creates the required objects for you, including the Snowflake database, the warehouse, the system user, and the system roles that Fivetran requires to connect to Snowflake. Super easy. Highly encourage you to check it out. It's just that easy to build a new data app with Snowflake and Streamlit. Fivetran ensures that any and all data movement to Snowflake is standardized and predictable across any data source, with each of those fully automated and fully managed pipelines providing reliability, scalability, predictability, and security. If you'd like to discuss your requirements for moving Workday HCM or over 500 other data sources simply and reliably into Snowflake, please do reach out. You can also kick off a 14-day free trial. Thanks so much for joining me today. Take care.